to another episode of the Bottom of the Stream Movie Show. My name is Adam.
My name's Nick. Welcome back aboard the Streamboat as we continue on our never-ending quest to search for hidden gems at the bottom of the Netflix stream.
We do indeed. And this week we have taken our boat and taken it to the Spanish place, Spain.
Yes.
Why I called it the Spanish place. Oh, apologies.
Factually correct.
Factually correct. Spain is a Spanish place. And it's the first time for a couple of weeks we've not had a wild card.
Yes.
So it's like
randomly
Robin's
selected.
back, randomly selected this movie. And he chose a movie called The Influence. The Influence was released in 2019. It's an 18. It runs for 1 hour and 39 minutes and is currently rated a 4.6 out of 10 on IMDb. 4.6.
I don't really understand ratings because
Okay.
I feel
Let's give up on that then.
on IMDb because I feel like we've seen stuff rated far higher than this that I would say is no better or worse.
Yeah. 6.4 last week.
Yeah. What's a 4.6?
Exactly. What does it mean? This movie stars Manuela Velles. She plays Alicia. It also stars Maggie Civantos. She plays Sarah. Alain Hernandez plays Miguel. And Claudia Placer plays Nora. I've named all 4 characters. Pretty much only 4 people in it.
Okay, I think that's fair. They're all significant.
Written by the wonderfully named Denis Rovira van Buckholt. And this was his first ever movie.
Okay.
But he went on to then direct a couple of episodes of Warrior Nun.
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah.
sticking in the same sort of genre.
Who'd have thought I'd have potentially seen all his work
All
that
of
he's
his
ever
works,
directed?
yeah. He has done a few other stuff as well, but
Okay.
Spanish stuff. Written by Michael Latambadi, Daniel Rizal, and Denis Rivera van Buckholt. And is based actually on an English novel written by a guy called Ramsey Campbell and was released in 1988.
Okay.
Ramsey Campbell's from Liverpool and was once described as the English Stephen King.
Oh.
Ever heard of him?
Nope.
Nope. Not me. Do you have a one-word review, Nick?
Spider Witch.
I hadn't even finished the sentence. Spider Witch. Yep, that's what this movie's about. Where does this movie start?
We get a credit sequence,
We do. Yeah,
start
very
with.
early credit sequence.
which feels like a while since we've
Yeah, it's
had one.
unusual to
And
have.
it's just close-ups of
Spiders.
body parts of spiders.
Yeah, bits of spider.
I was just finishing my dinner.
Oh, lovely. I try not to eat whilst I'm watching any of the Bottom of the Stream movies. I learned that lesson a long time ago.
And yeah, we get a full-on credit sequence, and then we get the old drone shot of a train arriving at a town.
We do,
Which
indeed.
very much reminded me of the opening shot of our current tabletopper.
Yes, it did.
The call.
The
Because
call.
that happens
It does.
exactly the same.
Yeah. My first note says, lady arrives on train. But then when she then arrived at a house, but she'd got her whole family with her. But you didn't see them get off the train.
So I think you did, but I don't
Okay.
think it was edited very well because I think they were in the foreground when she got off the train. But
Right.
we definitely focused on this woman getting off the train.
We did, indeed.
And then suddenly we're in a car and you're like, oh, there's 3 of
There's
them.
a whole family here.
Yeah.
So it's a woman. This is Alicia, her husband, Mikael, and her daughter, Nora. And they are turning up at a house. And they're turning up at a house because it is the house that Alicia grew up in.
It is.
It is her mother's house.
It is.
And she is currently there with her sisters living there looking after her ailing mother.
Yeah, living there. Well,
Well,
yeah.
not living there. She doesn't
Well,
live
she's
there.
there,
does she?
but she's
there.
caring for her
She's
multiple
caring
hours a day.
for her ailing mother. Because it's explained to us quite early on that the insurance that her mother has only is enough to pay for a nurse for 6 hours
Yes.
a day.
So there is help for part of the day.
Yeah, so Sarah, the sister, is doing the rest of the time. Was also running a shop.
She got like a gift shop.
Yeah,
in
I
town.
couldn't really tell what sort of shop it was. It was very strange. So they have to everybody's taking turns. So Alicia's come back, or we think at this point Alicia's come back to do her bit.
Yeah.
Which isn't why she's come back, but we find out more.
Well, no, I think it kind of is initially because she's a nurse as well.
She is a nurse.
She's got experience with this.
She specifically
area.
says at one point that she's come back for her sister, and at no point has she ever come back for her mother.
She just say that in a conversation later. She says like, "Yeah, I come back to help you because you sound desperate."
We find out quite early on that Alicia has no love or respect for her mother whatsoever, and we find out in the movie why that is.
There are, just before we get into it as well,
Yeah.
there are similarities here between this and The Call, aren't there? In
Yeah,
terms
very much
of,
so.
returning to her childhood home.
Yeah. It's a
problematic mothers.
Yeah, it's a movie cliche, isn't it? This whole thing.
Witchy, yeah.
There's similarities to the movie I watched, Imaginary, a movie I watched. That was the same thing.
Yeah.
They're very much paint by numbers movies, and the same thing happens in all of them, I think. Although this one's a little bit different. Alicia goes and meets the nurse. The nurse says, "Look, your mother's very ill, but I understand you're a nurse, and you don't really need me anymore, so I'm off."
I'm knocking off. Yeah.
She does. Yeah. She explains that her mother's got ulcers in her kidneys and on her back.
Yeah.
We go a flashback. There's a few flashbacks in this movie to when they were children. So the first one is of Alicia going to visit her mum, who looked like she was ill at the time as well. She was in bed, but she was a lot younger, obviously, back then. And she says to her mother, "Are you going to die like Daddy did?"
Yeah.
And then her mum screams at her and tells her to get out. And
she call her a little pig.
Little pig, yeah, something like that. She says that a lot.
Yeah.
Alicia says, "Look, why is this old woman in this house? She should be in a hospital." But they have a living will.
Sarah says there's a living will in place.
Yeah.
And as long as she is breathing,
she has to be in the house. That's part of her final wishes.
But she's in a coma, effectively. She is not conscious,
she is
this mother.
A very ill older lady who is in a coma. Nora wants to go and see the old lady, but Alicia's trying to protect her from that. She doesn't want her to see her.
You're not ready yet. I think they're trying to,
Even though you're going to live in this house with her, you don't need to see her.
Sarah says she's been in this coma for over a month.
Yeah.
But she's been in that room on that bed for 3 years.
Yeah. And for the previous 3 years, she just talked about death constantly.
Yeah.
That's all she ever talked about. That night, while everyone's asleep.
Did you, sorry, just before you move on.
Yeah.
Did you notice a couple of the things in the background?
Yes.
So
there's all sorts of things going on in the background of this movie.
As Sarah and Alicia are having this conversation at the kitchen table, the lights flicker.
Yes, they do.
And over Alicia's shoulder, the lampshade turns into the face of a ghost girl.
Yeah.
I was like, that's cool.
There's lots of background stuff going on. So occasionally there's people in the background who shouldn't be there.
Yeah, people in mirrors and just lurking.
It happens all
But I thought the lampshade one was cool.
Yeah, that was cool, to be fair. That night, whilst everyone's asleep, Nora sneaks upstairs into the old woman's bedroom. And she has a dream that somebody else is in the bed and kind of sits up.
Yeah.
But it's a dream. The whole thing's a dream.
Yeah.
It's not real. She wakes up.
Sarah says to Alicia, it's strange, I feel like, although mother's in this coma, I feel like she's in the corner watching me.
Watching me all the time. The next morning, Nora sees a wolf in the house.
Yeah, I forgot about the wolf.
Yeah, I did as well, till I've just read it there. But she follows it into a room, and then when she gets into the room, it isn't there. So it's a ghost wolf.
Yeah.
And there's a movie called that once.
Probably. And this room she goes into is full of knickknacks.
Yeah.
There's...
Yeah, it's like old sewing machines.
I just called it the voodoo room.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, there's like heads in jars and that sort of stuff. She finds an old locket.
Pins in dolls. Yeah. She has a go at the sewing machine and she finds this locket with a spider on it.
Yeah.
Like a bejeweled spider.
She does. And she opens it. There's nothing in there, I don't think, at that point, is there?
No.
But she takes it with her. She's going to
There's a kid in the mirror, which she doesn't notice.
There is a kid in the mirror. And the one runs behind her as well at one point. As she leaves the room, the sewing machine turns on by itself and goes wild.
It does.
There's lots of weird shit going on in this house.
Mikhail is in the basement exploring the house. He's an electrician.
Yeah, so he's out of work because they've only just moved here. They're staying here. This is like they've relocated their family to move this.
Yeah.
But Nora has a job at Alicia has a job at the hospital.
Yes.
She's a nurse. Nora's starting at the new school. That happens in a minute. But Mikhail's got nothing to do.
Yeah.
So he's going to stay at home on his own during the day.
Try and fix
the place up a bit. And at this point, I was writing my notes, and then all of a sudden, he put the heaviest rock music on.
He did, yeah.
And that's the biggest jump scare in this movie to me because I was not paying attention and I nearly pooed a little bit.
Yeah, he does some air guitar.
He does. So and it's really loud.
Yeah, it's...
I'd look down to write, Dad is starting to do some... What the fuck? Yeah, he's left alone. So he goes exploring around as well.
He finds the voodoo room as well.
He's checking all the different rooms out. Meanwhile, Norma starts a new school.
Yeah.
She is not welcomed by her new classmates because kids are cunts.
This is the classic new school movie trope.
Yeah, nobody likes the new kid. So as she's kind of daydreaming off at school, she looks out of the window and she sees, I've written lady, but it turned out it's actually a young girl.
I put mirror kid.
Yeah, she's like keying the cars.
Yeah.
She's got a piece of glass and she's scratching all the cars outside. She doesn't do anything. Nora goes to call the teacher over, but doesn't. And
Yeah.
Kind of.
And she looks up and the girl's gone.
Yeah.
Mikkel is getting a bit brave. So
Yes.
he's exploring the house.
Yeah.
And he goes up to the mum's room.
Yeah, Victoria, the mum's called. Or they call her the old woman all the way through.
Yeah.
That's what I've written in my notes. But for this point, I've written her name.
He just sort of generally murks her off a bit.
He does, because her a witch.
And he calls her a scumbag witch.
Yes, he does. And she opens her eye and scares him.
Yeah.
And he literally jumps.
She's got this milky eye.
Yeah, she opens it up and scares him. Just as he's fleeing down the stairs, the nurse shows up. So he tells her, "Look, the old woman's opened her eye. It's scared the living shit out of me."
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, it's normal.
Yeah, it happens.
all
It's
the
just
time."
a muscle reflex.
He asks, "Is there an electrician in town?"
Yes, this electrical job is beyond my knowledge. I think is what he's saying.
No, I thought he just wanted supplies,
Oh, did he? Okay.
but I'm not
I
sure.
thought he was like, "I can't do this.
Yeah.
I need some help."
And she gives him directions.
Yeah, she says, "Yeah, go into town. You'll see this guy."
You want Mr. Spark or whatever he was called.
She says go into the village, and he goes into this place, and it's definitely not a village. It's got like a harbour.
Yeah,
it's
a
a beautiful
lovely
Spanish
town.
seaside town.
Or did you notice in this movie that you must have noticed because it's not very subtle.
Don't be surprised.
When they arrive at this town, and even when he goes in now, it's sunny and blue sky.
Yeah, I don't
By
know.
the end of this movie. By the end of this movie, we've got the grey filter.
Yeah,
just on
completely.
everything.
It's only sunny when he's in the
Bleached
town.
everything out.
In the house, it's always like horrible.
The whole town is grey by the end of the movie.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. In the next scene, he's got all the lights fixed. So maybe he did just go and get some stuff because he came back and fixed them all himself.
Because him and Alicia have a bit of banter. She's like, "There's no way you'd fix this."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, I'll bet you'll
turn the switch on, see what happens." And he does. And yeah, she bets a couple of beers. And
But he says, "Come with me.
yeah,
I have found some weird shit in this room." And he shows her the voodoo room.
yes, he does.
And Alicia's like, "We should just get rid of all of this."
Yeah, we need to just get rid
it's
of all this.
creepy as balls.
And it was. He also says I've actually dropped his CV in at the school as well because there's a janitor's job going or something's going
And
on
the
at school.
port.
And the port, yeah. So he's trying to find work and he's also fixed up the house already. Then the family are gathered
Yes,
for a
there's two
reading
more.
for a
An
reading of the
advance
living
reading.
will that we already know about.
Advance will I've got. So it's Sarah, Alicia, Mikkel, plus their uncle.
Yeah,
and
their uncle and cousin.
Someone.
Yeah, I've got
Fabian or something like
something like that. They're all called to hear this will by this lawyer. And
He says, "Don't worry, it won't take long." Because Sarah says, "I've got to go and open the shop."
yeah, he's like, "Don't worry, it'll be done in a minute." Nora's getting everything.
Yeah.
Basically, the old woman has left Nora her entire estate.
Yeah.
Nobody else is
Sole
getting
heir.
anything. She's the sole heir, which Sarah's not happy about.
Neither is the uncle or the
No, or
Well, the cousin's mute. He doesn't speak.
Yeah, he doesn't really speak.
Everyone is taken aback.
Everybody's
Even
surprised.
Alicia says she's only met her once.
Yeah.
She's shown no interest.
Yeah.
Why is this happening?
And Sarah's like, "I've been looking after her on my own for 3 years,
Years
and I'm
and
not
years.
getting anything."
Yeah.
So nobody's happy about this. But the lawyer's like, "Tough shit. That's what she wants," and then he just clears off.
Yeah.
We never see him again.
So there's a bit of a family argument, isn't there?
Yes,
But Mikkel takes Nora out of the room and.
yeah. Well, Nora's meanwhile has snuck upstairs, hasn't she? Because she's gone.
Oh right, yeah,
she's
and he
gone
goes
up.
to find her. Yeah.
He goes to find her because she has a conversation with the old lady at this point.
Yeah.
And the lady's not talking, but Nora can hear the responses.
Yes, they're like
So they're
mind
mind
talking.
conversing, but Nora's talking out loud. So Mikkel comes up and drags her away from the old lady and brings her back downstairs. And just as they leave the room, the bell starts ringing.
Yeah.
She's got like a service bell.
Yeah.
That starts ringing. Then the
And
uncle's
something's
kicking
under
off.
the bed.
Yes,
There's like
something
a
is under the bed. Yeah.
gloopy mucus mess under the bed.
The uncle is kicking off as well downstairs now because Alicia's kicking off at the uncle because she's like, "How could you have let her get away with what she got away with when we were kids?
You didn't protect us
You
when
didn't
we were
protect
young."
us. Yeah, you're a scumbag."
And he's still speaking up for the
Yeah, he still defends his sister now,
her now.
even though
You should respect your mother. all
his
this
son's
sort
a
of
mute because of what he'd been through as well. And this lady apparently was not nice when these people were kids. So yeah, everybody's arguing with each other. Sarah storms out, but she's the first one to go, and then everybody kind of storms out, and the scene fizzles out from there. We then find out that Mikhail's managed to get himself a job.
Oh, we felt so they're just getting ready for bed, and
Yeah.
my notes say Alicia's got a manky toe,
Yes.
which bothers her,
Yeah.
and then Mikhail says, "I've got a job.
Yeah.
The fish people
I'm going to unload fish on the harbour.
have given me a job."
Yep.
He says, "It's not much, but we need a bit of money."
Yes. And then so they're getting into bed, and as they're getting into bed, we cut into Nora's room, and she's also getting into bed. But before she does that, she cuts a piece of her own hair off.
Yeah.
And puts it in the locket
In the
that
spider
she
locket.
found.
Yeah.
And she says, "Good night, Grandma."
Yeah.
And the grandma answers, and it was creepy. Next day, Mikhail's at work, unloading fish. Manages to cut his hand open a little bit.
No PPE, no gloves. Gets a massive
absolutely.
splinter. I thought this was going to play into the film later
Me too.
on that he had this injury, but
yeah,
it didn't.
but it didn't. Never got mentioned again.
Yeah.
Very strange. Never goes back to the fish place either.
No.
Strange.
One day he'd completed it.
Done. Kids, meanwhile, at school are saying mean things about Nora. They're basically bullying her. And I've written she talks to a street kid outside the fence.
Yes.
But it's basically this girl that
It's
keeps
the
appearing
mirror
in
girl.
the background.
Yeah. He introduces herself
does.
as Luna.
This is Luna. And this is the first time we meet Luna. Sarah and Alicia are kind of making up. They're having tea at home. And
Sarah's just being honest. She said, "Thank you so much for coming to help me. I
Yeah.
can't do it on my own.
Please don't go.
Don't go.
Don't leave
Yeah.
me." And then suddenly, whilst they're having this conversation, they hear a scream through the... They've got like a baby monitor
Yeah.
that's all the way through this movie.
Just hear
There's
the
a soundtrack of the beep of the
machinery.
machinery and this deep, guttural, heavy breathing from this old woman. And it's on the soundtrack the whole way through this movie, and it's really disturbing.
But Nora's screaming.
Through this monitor. They can hear her. She's in the room with her.
Yeah.
And so they both run up to the room, and the door's locked. So Alicia's like, "Where's the key?" Sarah's like, "There's not a key. It's never been locked before. I don't know what to do." Then we cut into the room, and the lights are exploding. It's all gone red.
Poltergeisting.
Yeah. Nora's covered in glass.
Furniture, books flying everywhere.
Yeah, it's all gone a bit crazy. Sarah runs down to get an axe. She gets an axe. They start chopping the door open. It's all gone a little bit crazy. Lots of crazy shit's gone on. Eventually they get in. They manage to rescue Nora from flying glass and stuff.
Calm her down.
Yes.
Get her out of there.
Yeah, absolutely. So they do. They calm her down. They take her to bed. They calm her down, put her into bed. I don't know why I've just said that twice. And whilst they're doing that, they find the locket.
Yeah, the spider locket.
And they're like, "Where has she had this from? Well, she can't be having this." So they take it off her.
Sarah says to Nora when they're back downstairs, "We need to keep an eye." Sarah says to Alicia, "We need to keep an eye on Nora
Yes.
in case," as she says, "Bear with me here because it might sound a bit crazy. In case Mum is trying to get her to stand in front of the mirror,
Yeah.
like we
Ominous.
did when we were kids." And Alicia's like, "No, sells it."
Yeah, she's like, "What?
What are you talking
Don't know
about?
what you're talking about." So we get a flashback to when they were all kids. And it's the two girls and...
Their cousin.
It's actually Sarah and the cousin.
Yeah.
Alicia's not in the scene.
No.
Because she doesn't remember being there. Which I quite liked. But she was there, but she
Yeah.
didn't remember it, so they didn't put her in the scene. And the mum's there in, like, full funeral
Bride
dress.
of Frankenstein stuff.
Yeah. She's talking about death to these two kids. These kids are
Scared.
six,
Yeah.
7. They're terrified of this old woman. Well, she's not even an old woman at this point. And she says, "I will never die until I choose to, which I never will."
Yeah.
And we're getting the results of this now because this woman will not die. She's
Yeah.
been in this coma for however long.
And she makes them look in front of the mirror.
Yeah.
She casts a spell and they become old kids.
Yeah, they start looking older in the mirror.
And she says something like death's just a state of mind or something like that. And they're petrified.
The mirror starts cracking
Yeah.
as well, and they run away.
And we come back to Sarah and Alicia and sitting in the kitchen table. And Sarah says, "You were there too."
Yeah, you must remember this. And
then
Alicia's kind of blocked it out.
And we get a brief flashback and Alicia's then in the attic.
Yeah.
In this flashback.
So she suddenly remembers everything that her mother had done to her, which she'd
So
blocked
she's like,
out.
"Right, I'm not having this."
I'm not having this.
Back
Storms
upstairs.
upstairs, switches the machine off.
Yeah.
She's like, "I'm done. I'm
Pulls
done
the
with
plug.
this old woman." Her and Sarah are arguing because Sarah's not making any attempt to turn it back on, but also she's like, "You can't do this. It's a crime."
She's
it's
not really
murder."
explained her working either.
Yeah, she's
And,
not.
and this is exactly when Mikhail
Runs back
turns in
He's
and
like,
goes,
"What the fuck are you
"What's
two
going on
doing?"
here?
Turns it back on. He's like, "You can't be murdering people." And Alicia just turns to Mikhail and is like, "We're done. I'm out of here. We're going to go. We've got to leave. We need to get out of here." Instead, they have a bonfire.
They pack up the voodoo room and
They
burn
do.
it all.
So she's like, "We need to go. We need to leave. We need to get out of here." And then all of a sudden, they're just outside having a bonfire. And I'm like, it was a bit of a jarring scene change. Meanwhile, whilst so they're setting fire to everything from downstairs, all the furniture, all the weird, creepy shit. They've got this like deer's head with big antlers, skull. So that's even on the fire. But while they're doing that, Nora's upstairs watching this, and she can see some sort of creepy naked person dancing around.
I've heard naked grandma witch.
Yeah,
I think it's a personification of grandma.
Yeah, I think so.
But she is an old haggard naked
bloody mess
witch.
Of a person dancing around this fire,
like the bathtub woman out of The Shining.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we cut to the school late at night, and a man is in there. I presumed was the janitor.
It was Mr. Spock, the electrician.
The electrician from the town. And he's fixing the lighting in the school in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And suddenly Luna runs up to him and basically murders him.
Shakes his ladder.
So
he grabs something.
He grabs the light.
Yeah,
as he falls off the ladder, he grabs at something.
And it's the exposed wire.
And burns to death.
Fries.
All
the lights in the town die.
Cuts the power in the whole town, including in the house where we're
up on the
where
hill.
We're based. Yeah,
long way away.
Then we cut to Luna, the girl that we met earlier, walking over the embers of this burnt out bonfire, and she retrieves the antlers, the skull, the deer skull with the antlers.
Nora gets told by Alicia, "Don't go into Grandma's room again," and Nora says, "I've lost something. I don't know where it is," but Alicia never sort of says, "What is it?"
Yeah.
Even though she
knows it's the locket and she knows that she's taken it. Mikhail then gets a call from the school. He's got a job at the school now.
Oh, yeah. They basically just say on the phone, "Come and fix our lights."
Yeah, please come and fix our lights. The only electrician in the town is dead. So please come and fix the lights.
So he says to Alicia, "Look, let's just stay another week. So let me finish this job."
All he ever says to her is, "We need the money."
Yeah.
Every time she's like, "We need to go." And he's like, "No, we need to stay. We need the money."
He says, "Let's at least let me finish the job at the school and then we'll talk again."
Yeah.
And she seems okay with that.
Yeah, she agrees. She's at work at the hospital at this point. Then we cut to Sarah in her shop. And
Anna.
she's...
Sarah. You're right, sorry.
Who's Anna?
The nurse.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're in Sarah in her shop. She's, like Nick said earlier, it's like a creepy gift shop.
Yeah.
And she gets a...
She's got Halloween masks and stuff in there.
Yeah, and she gets a delivery of a Halloween mask, which she tries on. Did you recognise the mask?
No.
Do you remember Terrorhawks, the TV show from the 80s? It was Zelda from Terrorhawks. Yeah. I was like, I recognise that. I couldn't place it at all. And then when I was reading the IMDb trivia, it's on there. It's a Zelda mask from Terrorhawks, really randomly. It's like she gets it delivered. She puts it on for a minute.
Yeah.
It looks just like the old woman.
Yeah, it does.
I think that's what we're trying to say. And then she puts it on display in the shop.
But she gets a flashback while she's wearing the mask to her mother pulling her tooth out.
Yeah.
When she was a kid.
Horrible. I hate tooth stuff. There's not much stuff that creeps me out, but tooth stuff and nail stuff. And both of those are in this movie, and it freaks me out.
So Anna sees Luna wander past the front of the shop as well.
Yeah, Sarah.
Sorry, Sarah.
We do, and then Luna returns Nora's locket to her.
Yes.
And Sarah finds a picture of her mum wearing the locket.
She does.
Or a similar locket.
And she says, "I think that she was using these lockets to control us."
Yeah.
And I'm worried that's what is
that's
happening
what's happening
with Nora.
Again now. It's happening to Nora. Because there's a few lockets that they find dotted around that have got different things in, which happens later. Cut to Alicia.
They can't find the locket.
No, they can't.
That they've took from Nora.
Because Nora's got it back. Yeah. Cut to Alicia, who is giving her mum a bed bath and cleaning her horrible back. And this is where she has a flashback to she was a kid and her mum came in to cut her toenails for her, and she cut all her toenails, made them look all nice, and then dug the nail scissors the wrong way in. I fucking hated it.
And basically extracted her big toenail, which is why she's still got a manky toenail.
Yes.
Yeah, it was horrible. Made me good. Maybe do that.
Nail stuff and teeth stuff just don't do it for me. And Alicia finishes this scene by looking into the old woman's face and saying, "No matter how much you try, you're already dead.
Yeah,
just go." She won't go. Kids, meanwhile, are picking on Nora again, and possibly one of the weirdest scenes of the whole movie. So they're picking on her, and she's drawing circles with a compass.
Yeah, they're all doing.
They're all doing like maths, compass stuff, and she's had enough. She's had enough of being bullied, so she's going to do something about it. So what she does is gets this compass and stabs the shit out of this little girl.
In the hand. And then she beat the living daylights out of her.
She did. She must have stabbed her in the hand 10 times.
Yeah.
And then dives on her and just pummels. Like, she's still got the compass in her hand as well. So she's pummeling and stabbing and going crazy. And then and it's just mad. There's blood flying everywhere. This little girl's getting a life beaten out of her. There's blood flying at the camera. It's crazy.
All that happens is she gets expelled for a couple of days.
So,
I'd have thought the police would be involved.
I've written that in my notes. That was my next note. So they call the parents in, and both of the parents are like, "Oh, this isn't like Nora. This is very
and the
strange."
teacher says, "No, I thought that as well."
Yeah, I've only known her for a day, but yeah, I think you're right as well. So what we'll do, we'll just suspend her for a couple of days. And I'm like, she should be arrested. This girl is like dead. I've been stabbed multiple times and beat the crap out of her. She shouldn't be. Well, it was just mental to me. So in the next scene, it's just Mikhail and Nora in the house because
she's
bored
bored
because
she's
she's a kid
and he
she's not
says,
at school.
"Well, that's your punishment."
Yeah,
but then he immediately goes soft because she
wants
says,
to go play in
"Can
the
I go
garden?"
in the garden?" He says, "Yeah, all right."
Yeah, he says no to start with, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm being mean to this psychopath that's to stab this child." So she's like, "Yeah, go and play in the garden."
And she meets Luna and they walk off.
When she's out there, Luna's out there, and they kind of walk off hand in hand. And then when Sarah gets home, so I think Sarah lives in the back of her shop. Is it the same place?
Possibly. She leaves through the front door and walks. She's jumpy walking down the street.
She does say at some point at the beginning of the film that she's got a little cottage.
Yeah.
So yeah. When Sarah gets home, Nora's in the house waiting for her. And Sarah's like, "What the hell are you doing here? What's going on?" Sarah doesn't know any of this.
She says, "Has something happened at home?"
Yeah. Why are you in my house?
Yeah.
And then it turns out Luna is there too. And Luna's a bit of a psychopath.
Yeah, because she's talking in Grandma's voice to start with.
To Sarah. Yeah. And then she pushes Sarah down. She pushes her over. And
she says, I hear you're looking for...
The locket.
The locket. I know where it is.
Your locket is buried in the garden.
Yeah.
Start digging, she says. And they both then bully Sarah into making her dig a hole in the garden. It's pissing it down. There's a storm brewing. And it's all muddy and slimy and grimy and horrible. And she's digging this hole, was like crying not to be wanting to, while these two little girls are standing over her, stopping her, or making her dig this hole. Meanwhile, Mikhail and Alicia are out looking for Nora because Nora's gone missing.
Yes, so they're panicking.
They're panicking. Sarah and Luna then have a fight.
Yeah, but by this time she's dug a massive hole.
Yeah, so she's like standing in this hole and they're fighting. She's trying to get out. But Nora sneaks up behind Sarah and bangs her around the back of the head with a shovel. Yeah. And knocks her down. And then suddenly the old woman is there.
Yeah, so kind of Luna turns into...
Old woman.
The mother in a nightgown.
Victoria.
It's kind of...
Luna's basically the young persona of the mother.
Yeah.
And she smashes Sarah's face in with the shovel multiple times.
Yeah.
But again, blood's flying at the camera. The whole face is caving in. And yeah, she gets murdered.
Yeah.
Nora and Luna then go back to the old woman's room.
Nora did well to clean the mess up.
She did,
because she was covered in blood, mud, and water.
Yes. And they say, right, it's time. She says it's time to complete the look or something along those lines.
Complete the link.
Luna
says to Nora, there's only one last step. You need to complete the link. You need to look into your grandma's eyes.
Basically, yeah, and then the grandma is going to take possession of Nora's body.
Yeah.
This is how she never dies. She keeps herself young by possessing herself. And she does. She looks into the eyes of the old lady and you see literally see the evil creep in.
It's like a devil bat witch thing.
Yeah.
Which goes into Nora.
It does. There's all this like black slimy stuff crawling into her eyes and up her nose.
But then you get all these frames of this like horned devil thing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then as that is happening, Luna kind of walks away. Her job is done.
And she kind of melts to sludge.
Yeah, she's out of the picture. Cut to a little while later, Alicia and Mikhail come home devastated that they can't find Nora. And when they get there, Nora's there and she's cleaning the stairs.
Yeah.
And they all cry and they all have a big group hug together. But now they can't find Sarah.
She's missing.
Everybody's missing. So they go to her house. They're all like, where's Sarah gone?
And key point here is that I guess Mikhail and Alicia, to our knowledge, hadn't been to the cottage before. Otherwise, they might have just gone, that freshly dug grave there with a couple of flowers in it. Looks a bit dubious.
I've written that in my notes
But
as well.
there was a line earlier, to be fair, where Sarah said, I live in this cottage, I've got a lovely garden, I like
Yes,
keeping the flowers.
but also if
It was just in the middle of the lawn.
it was just a patch of mud in the middle of the lawn and your sister's missing,
Yeah.
and there's a clearly freshly dug patch of ground in the middle of the lawn, which a dog is sniffing around.
Yes.
Because Nora goes out and she's like, we need to stop this dog sniffing around.
She tries to shoo it away.
She tries to shoo it away and it doesn't go anywhere. So then she attacks this dog.
Kicks it in the head.
She kicks it in the head as Alicia's looking out of the window watching her. So Alicia sees her do this. My note says, my sister's missing. How strange there's a freshly dug bit of grass in the garden. They kind of like give up looking for her. She's not in the house.
Yeah.
So they go home. The next scene, we see Nora dragging an axe around the house.
Yeah.
While the others are all asleep. So they've forgot about Sarah. They've just gone home to go to bed. And
She goes back to Sarah's house.
back to Sarah's
where
house.
the dog is again.
Still snooping around. But not for long. Because she axes the dog in the head. And
What does she
kills
do with
the
the dog's body?
What does she do with the dog's body? Does the dog die.com? Yes, it does. And she covers its face with the dog's blood. She covers her own face with its blood. And
Screams into the rain. Alicia wakes up also in this same night.
Yep.
And oh no, this is a dream, isn't it?
Yeah, this is a dream.
Yeah, so we think she wakes up. She sees Nora asleep in the bed.
Yep.
And carries on upstairs to Victoria's room.
Yep.
Opens a wardrobe door.
Yeah, there's a wardrobe that we don't have the key for. We've never been into. Yeah. We don't know what's in
there. And she just screams.
She screams and the wardrobe screams.
Yeah.
They're like, it's like the sounds of hell from inside.
And she wakes up.
Yes, then she wakes up screaming. The next day, Alicia's like, gives the nurse the day off. She's like, you don't need to be here today. I'm not going into work. Yeah. You can have the day off. Nora's going back to school, so that suspension didn't last very long.
She's giving
What are that other kids' parents thinking?
Yeah, exactly. What support have they had from this institution?
Literally, I would take my kid out of that school. And Alicia goes back to this wardrobe that she dreamt about the night before.
Nora was definitely back at school before the victim was back at school.
100%. That girl's still in hospital.
Yeah.
100%. And Alicia breaks into this wardrobe.
Nora's giving Alicia evils, though, before she leaves school. Like,
she
I know you're up to
something.
Yeah.
Because this isn't Nora now. This is the old woman.
Yeah.
She breaks into the wardrobe, and when she opens it up, there's a bloody dress in there.
So is this the dress that the personification of Mother was wearing when she just killed Sarah?
Presumably. Don't know. It's not explained. There's also in there a couple more lockets.
Yeah.
There's like a jewellery box with a couple more of the lockets in. And in one of them is a tooth. And in one of them is a finger.
There's three.
Was there three? Sorry. Yeah. What was the third one?
So there's the first one she opens got the tooth in, which is obviously the one that controlled Sarah. Toenail's in the second one, which is the one that controlled her. And then the finger or thumb is in the third one because the cousin was missing.
The cousin was missing a finger.
A digit.
He was. So that's it. So that is the confirmation that this is how she controls the kids, by having a locket with something of theirs inside. Meanwhile, whilst Alicia's still in this room, Nora comes home.
She just says, "School's boring.
School's boring. I'm done with school." Home. Turns the machine off.
Yeah.
She says, "I don't need this old woman's body anymore."
She says, "I don't need this sack of bones anymore." Is what I had on my subtitles.
But she says that in the old woman's voice.
Yeah.
So they fight. Alicia and Nora start fighting.
Nora's got this piece of glass and she slices Alicia.
She does. And
says she's going to kill Mikkel.
She says, if you say a word to Dad, I will kill him.
Yeah.
And then Dad comes home. Mikkel comes home. And Nora's playing the loving daughter now.
She have a lovely family dinner.
She runs up and hugs him and they have this nice family dinner. And Alicia says, while they're having this family dinner, Nora, have I ever told you how Grandad died? And
she starts shaking.
Nora
does.
Proper angry. Yeah. But then we get a flashback. And basically, to cut a long story short, or an unnecessary
I thought this was a good scene.
It was a good scene.
But yes, go straight to the money shot.
So the dad had been away with work or something along those lines. He comes home. The two kids want to surprise him. Yeah. So to surprise him, they were
going to play a prank on him.
So they put the antlers of this deer head on the stairs to the basement.
Yeah. And Alicia was going to jump out and
scare him.
Yeah.
Pretending to be this scary deer, I guess. Which is what happened. She jumps out from under the stairs, scares him. He jumps. The stairs give away. And he impales himself on the antlers of these
Right through his neck.
Right through his neck hole.
Clutch just cue a bit of a slow death with him
blood
gurgling and choking.
Then the mum runs in. All she sees is a loving husband impaled on these antlers and Alicia's face covered in blood.
Stairs covered in blood.
So she screams. It turns out she'd never believed the truth after that. This presumably all happened before the witch stuff all kicked off. She never believed it, and this is why she's been horrible to these kids for so long. Nora screams, "You're a liar," and leaves the table.
Mikhail says.
And Mikhail storms out too. He's like, I cannot believe you've just
told
my daughter.
Says we're leaving. We're packing up today. We're leaving.
Yeah. Nora and the old woman are then discussing killing again.
But the baby monitor's still on, so Alicia hears everything.
Hears it over the monitor.
And it's Nora talking to Grandma, but
also doing the voice of Grandma.
Yeah, she says, "Are you going to kill Daddy?"
Yeah.
And Grandma says, "Yes, maybe. Just whatever makes your mum suffer as much as possible."
I just want to make your mum suffer as much as possible. So Alicia hears all this. She calls Mikhail, tells him, "Look, we need to go home.
Come home.
We need to get out of here." When she goes up to the old woman's bedroom, there's nobody there.
No. But there's a scuttling in the attic.
She can hear a noise in the attic. So she goes into the attic. And when she gets there, the antlers are hanging in midair. Just like nobody's holding them. They're just there. And then all of a sudden, the old lady jump scares her.
The witch zombie attacks us.
Witch zombie.
Vomits blood everywhere.
And then Nora the wood in this house is terrible. Nora then falls through the ceiling.
Yeah.
Into the old woman, back into the old woman's bedroom and injures herself. Just as she does that, Mikhail comes running home. Literally running home. He's running down the drive.
He says to Nora, "Where's your mother?"
Yeah.
And she says, in the basement. And she points him down the stairs. It's the same as the flashback we've just seen.
Yes. Then that's where that story kind of finishes, because it's the same scene, isn't it?
Together,
they mix the two stories of both dads going down the stairs, and this is where we find out that it was an accident of what happened to the dad.
And we see Mikhail kind of before the same fate, but it just kind of cuts away as he trips.
Yeah, we don't see him.
And then we cut back to their dad's flashback getting
fully
sliced open.
Yeah. And Nora says, "Sorry, Dad, it was Mum's fault."
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Alicia is crawling around upstairs, clearly injured from this fall through the ceiling she's just had. And when we get back to the bed, the old woman is not there anymore, and Nora is lying in the bed with the face mask on and everything. And a hand kind of grabs Alicia, and then as Mikhail comes into the door, it throws Alicia at him, and she goes crashing into the wall. There's a big fight going on. Oh, she pulls his hand in half.
Oh yeah, she rips. She says she gets two fingers and just pulls
into each, because he cut his hand earlier.
Yeah, and
she literally pulls his hand into two pieces, which is horrible. He had no injuries from falling down the stairs, but I think I'd rather have had that injury than that one. But then Alicia manages to knock her out, and Mikhail kills her.
Although Alicia's saying, "Don't kill her, don't kill her," because when
this is the old woman.
Yeah.
And Alicia's begging him not to kill her because she knows if the old woman dies, Nora's done.
Yeah.
So he's about to kill her, and then Nora jumps on his back and bites his throat out.
She does, yeah.
And he throws her out the window.
Yeah, just slings her off his shoulder.
Throws his own daughter out of the window. And she lands on the drive completely, broken to pieces. Meanwhile, Alicia's trying to revive the old woman. She's giving her the kiss of life, because if the old woman dies, very bad things are going to happen. And we see Nora
take a breath
on the floor, and then it cuts to a hospital.
Yeah.
Or the hospital. And Nora wakes up, and she's in hospital.
So is Grandma.
She's also now in hospital.
They're
against her wishes.
Next beds.
And then Alicia takes Grandma's bed.
Yeah, this was a weird edit, wasn't it?
Very weird.
She
She
elopes with the
wheels the bed out of the room. Yeah. I mean, she is a nurse. She does work there. She should probably get away with it. And she
puts her in a basement.
Puts her in a basement room that nobody ever goes to, and says, "You may stay alive here, but you're just going to rot in this basement.
Yeah.
For as long as I can keep you alive."
It was a weird edit.
It was a very weird edit. And she says, "And you'll never see Nora again." And then as she's talking to this, the old woman moves her finger on the bed.
Yeah, she
scratching at the bed. Alicia leaves, and I've written Ghost Nora and Ghost Husband walk in, because it's not Nora, but it's like
It's the movie trying to tell us they're talking to each other.
Yeah, but they're standing by the bed, and the dead husband standing behind Nora.
And Nora says, "Look, Grandma, stop hanging around. Basically, Grandpa's here waiting for you.
Go with him.
Go. He's a good guy."
And she turns
You'll be happy.
Nora turns the machine off again, and just as she does that, Grandpa turns into a massive devil demon horn thing, and Grandma starts choking Nora. She grabs her around the throat. And then Nora wakes up in the bed.
So again, was it real? Was it? I don't know.
Who knows? She tells both her parents she loves them and that this is all over. She thinks it's all over. There's missing Sarah posters all around the town.
Yeah.
So we've cut forward a little bit more in time again, and Luna. And then there's a body in the pond. Who was that? Was that Luna?
Yeah.
And then the family lock the house up.
They've all packed up.
So
Nora, Michael, and Alicia
pack the house up, and they go to leave. And they drive off in their car. And as they drive off in the car, Nora has her finger on the seat and she is scratching away at it, just like Grandma did in the bed a minute ago. And the voiceover from Nora says, "Grandma always wants the best for us."
And
that's how the movie ends.
My first question is, why are they assumed? Because I didn't assume that they had rid Nora of the possession.
No, not me. And she just woke up and wasn't possessed anymore.
Yet the film's expecting me to go, "Oh, what a twist. She's still in there."
Yeah,
I kind of assumed
she was still in there.
She was still in there.
Absolutely.
Because the parents had just kind of gone, "Well, this is all over and nicely wrapped up."
Yeah.
But nothing had changed. Grandma was still alive.
Yep.
Nora's still alive.
Yeah. We've not found Sarah.
No.
We're going to leave anyway. But we've not found her.
The possession is still ongoing.
Yes. But it seems to be a twist or a surprise at the end of the movie to us, but it isn't.
Yeah.
Very strange.
So it was completely unnecessary, that little scratch.
Overall, thoughts?
Do you know what? I think we're going to come down quite differently on this because I really enjoyed it.
Wow.
But I have a theory as to why.
Okay.
Because I just don't watch this sort of movie very often.
No, that is true.
And
I've seen 3 this week.
Yeah, exactly. I might be being completely naive here, but I've never seen any of those like Annabelles, Conjurings. You know, I know this sort of thing is 10 a penny, but to me, I was like, yeah, I quite enjoyed it, and I know I can see there's tropes here, but it made me jump a couple of times, and
it made me jump a couple of times. I'm flabbergasted by this. Genuinely,
I thought, yeah, this is. Do you know what?
I'll go convinced.
Even further.
Oh God!
As I switched it off yesterday after I'd finished, I was like, I think that might be the best movie we've seen this season.
Again?
Because
you keep doing this to me.
I think I enjoyed it more than The Call, which is another horror movie.
It is another horror movie.
Is a bit similar to this. But this is simpler.
Yeah, this is simpler.
I'm not saying
that might be why I didn't like it.
I'm not saying this is the best movie. Oh, be careful. I'm not saying this is the best movie we've seen this season.
Good.
What I'm saying is I think I enjoyed it more than the movie that is currently at the top of the charts.
That's fair. I can get that. I was absolutely convinced you were not going to have enjoyed this.
No,
this
is along for the ride.
This is very much not a you movie.
No.
This isn't your sort of horror.
I wouldn't choose to watch this.
No, and I wouldn't either. I don't like haunted. Like you used to say, haunted house movies are 10 a penny, and that's basically what this is. And they're all the same. They're all full of. Is this the worst parenting we've ever seen in a movie?
Oh, they're terrible parents. They are awful parents.
Because
the whole family just. Oh, they're all awful.
Fine, right. I get it. Let's think along Alicia's lines here. Alicia's grown up with this horrible witch of a mother.
Yeah.
Her entire life, who has treated her abysmally and is now dying. She gets a call from her sister saying, "I need your help." So Alicia says, "I'll bring my daughter."
Because for some reason she can't remember any of the things that happened.
But as soon as she gets there, you know that she doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
And as soon as she realises, why is she not taking her own daughter out of this situation?
And Sarah's still not being controlled, isn't she?
No.
So but I kind of get it. She's been coerced her whole life, so she doesn't want to leave.
Has Sarah been tricked into getting Nora to the house?
Possibly.
Is that what's happening here? And Alicia's just fallen for it?
But I don't think this film spells that out.
No, not at all.
It doesn't even go for that. But yes, that would make sense.
It makes no sense to me why Alicia would put her family in that position.
No, she wouldn't.
Willingly.
From what we learn of these characters, she wouldn't say that. She would say to Sarah, "Just leave.
Yeah, absolutely
you come
not.
to us."
I absolutely detest this woman.
I am not
bringing my family
my husband and my daughter to her.
To this danger. Right. And even if she doesn't remember anything when she gets there, It's pretty quick that she does, and at that point she should go. They stay the whole way through.
Yeah.
At any point in this movie, she should have just taken Nora out of this situation. Job done. This is the end of the movie.
And then they double down at the end and just presume, well, we've broken it, everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
Even though
the old woman isn't dead.
No.
And Nora has been possessed and has not been exorcised.
Yeah, exactly.
This is where it falls apart for me, and this is why I didn't enjoy it. Plus, it takes itself far too seriously. It thinks it's a really good horror movie, and I like my horror to be a little bit tongue in cheek and be like, I know what we're doing here. This isn't as serious as people should think it is.
I do not disagree with anything you have said. I think they're all completely valid points, and it doesn't hold up. And
it doesn't, not at all.
But in the moment when I finished it yesterday, I was like, I've enjoyed that, and that's. But I don't watch this sort of thing. This is all not new to me. I'm not.
To be fair, I don't. I don't enjoy supernatural horror as much as other genres of horror.
I was people shouting at this right now, but I did enjoy it. Yeah.
I'm stunned. I genuinely didn't.
I just went along for the ride,
which is fine. I paused it to get a drink with about 40 minutes left, and I audibly sighed when I saw there was 40 minutes left. Yeah. I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I've got to do another 40 minutes of this. I don't think I got anything out of this movie at all.
So, yeah, okay, cool.
But it's really unusual for a Spanish movie on this show to not hit with me or with. Normally we're raving about Spanish movies, Spanish cinemas. The one thing, I think I said it in one of the episodes we did recently, the one thing I've taken out of this show is how good Spanish movies are. But this one just didn't.
I would just put it very similar to the one, was it last season or the season before, where the boy got possessed?
Yes.
That was a Spanish ghost.
It was, wasn't
it? As well.
I have no idea what it was.
But you know which one.
I do know which one. Where he fell in the swimming pool. Yeah. Again, that was another one that took itself far too seriously.
Yeah, but we ranked that pretty highly, if I remember rightly.
That was called The Something as well. It
made the top 10.
Did it?
Yeah.
What, at the end?
Season. Yeah.
Did it really?
Let's
do some research rather than just talking around.
I'll find out what
was that last season or season before?
One of them. It was reasonably recent.
It had a vibe of the very early on in the show we did I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House.
Yeah,
that had a bit of vibe to that.
That was gothic, though.
Yeah, that was a lot more gothic than this.
This wasn't.
That's the sort of movie that it reminded me of.
Don't Listen.
Don't Listen. That was it. So it was a tough thing to name a podcast.
Yeah.
Where did it come?
It came 8th.
Oh, really?
Season 9.
Okay. Or maybe I just wasn't in the mood for it last night then. Maybe I'm being a lot harsher on it than I was.
No, I think all those flaws are completely valid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Completely valid. It doesn't hold up. But I did, like I say, I just went along for the ride, and I thought, I don't watch stuff like this much, and
I guess that's fair.
I thought it scared me a couple of times. I thought the witch woman was pretty creepy.
Yeah. Maybe it is. Maybe it's because I've seen it all before, and it's nothing new to me anymore.
It maybe. Yeah, and that would be completely 100% valid.
But old people, they were all like that in that movie.
Yeah, true. It is going to make it difficult to rank this.
It really is. Shall we do stream table now?
Yeah.
So you want me to read through the whole thing?
Sure.
Currently at the bottom of the stream is Riptide. That is at 13th. At 12th is Hard Feelings. Number 11 is Bloody New Year. And number 10 is Rogue Agent. And number 9 is Mad Dogs. And number 8 is Hypnotic. Number 7 is Sundogs. And number 6 is Green Sea. Number 5 is Bubble. Number 4 is Finder's Fee. Number 3 is The Girl in the Yellow Jumper. Number 2 is 60 Minutes. And currently number 1 is The Call. Instant thoughts. What are you thinking?
I think you're talking me down a bit.
Okay. That's helpful. I'm going to be honest, I don't really know myself.
Maybe about 7th, 8th.
It's Hypnotic again, isn't it? We seem to be stuck around there.
I'd like to say, yeah, I was almost thinking yesterday to top couple. But I think,
but you're going right down.
I think I can take your criticisms on board, and maybe I'm not being objective enough.
Okay, that's interesting.
There's probably people shouting at me going, how
stick to your guns.
How did you put Rogue Agent so low?
I'm going to be accused of gaslighting you now as well.
No, I
I get accused of that all the time.
I don't think I want it higher than like Finder's Fee and.
No, it's not that high.
But I'm open to anything below that. I think. What about you? Where were you pitching it?
I would put it if it was my stream table, which I understand it isn't, I would put it just below Hypnotic.
Okay.
Maybe just below Mad Dogs. There, somewhere there. So, but I'm willing to come up if you're willing to join me.
I would have it. I think I'd have it above Hypnotic.
Okay.
Can we put it 8th?
Yes.
Okay. Deal.
Struck.
A deal.
We struck a deal. That's a lot higher than I was expecting it to go. So
I just quite enjoyed it for what it was, which
so
was a ridiculously stupid movie.
We've got 10 movies left to go in this stream table. Does anything stick out to you in that stream table as being in the wrong place? There's a question I've never asked you before. There is one for me. That's why I've asked it.
That's in the wrong place.
It just sticks out to me as like...
I have something that...
We haven't been kind to this movie since the one I'm thinking of, and it's a lot higher up than I maybe thought it was.
That we've not been kind to since?
Yeah.
Nothing sticks out to me as in the wrong place. I have a couple of comments on something, but I'll get to that in a minute. Why? Go on, tell me what you're thinking.
Finder's fee.
Yeah.
Is 4th.
Yeah.
That seemed high. Considering we've done a lot of abusing of Finder's fee since since we've recorded that.
But I would say loving abuse.
You might say that. I don't have...
But I really enjoyed watching Finder's
maybe I did as well. It just feels like... When I've just read through that table, I was like, that's a lot higher than...
What would you have above it?
That's a great question, because probably none of them.
I think this has been a really interesting season so far, but and full of movies that have had a lot to talk about and been really interesting to discuss and watch. But in terms of if we were ranking this against pure quality of movies, I think this is weak. Yes. I think it's a weak group of movies.
There's potentially only 3 good movies out of 4.
I think The Call is a really poor table topper.
Yeah, I agree.
I think if that finishes, there's still 11 weeks left. That's loads.
Yeah.
But were that to finish as the top movie on this season, I think that would be one of the weakest table toppers.
I agree. I completely agree.
Ever had.
There's potentially 3 good movies in there and nothing really good yet. But it feels like at the minute that we're stuck. And then nothing's going to break that top 3. And it really
I don't think
like
anything's
that.
come close.
No, it hasn't. And I don't know. It just feels like we're stuck in a bad movie rut. And we need a hidden gem. We've not got.
I don't think we've had.
Would you argue
if you look at the last 5-6 movies, I don't think any of them have been bad. None of them are bad.
They're just very middle. They're all very meh at the minute.
Yeah.
Robin seems to have got us stuck.
No, you can't blame.
No, I can't blame Robin. He's had 2 weeks off. I'm blaming the Patreons. Maybe I need to get my wildcard sorted and win again.
Let's see what happens. I'm not sure where this table's going to go.
No, normally it's a very interesting position this stream table's got us in.
Yeah,
can't say stream table for some reason.
But I do think. I think the best 3 films of this season so far are the top 3. The
Agreed.
Call,
and I think
60 Minutes and The Girl in the Yellow Jumper.
I think there's a gulf between them after that.
But I think they're a weak top 3. Or compared to other years.
They definitely wouldn't win any other stream table, that's for sure. Not that they're bad movies. It's just they're not as good as some of the good stuff.
That's what happens when you are
randomly
chiefly relying on a randomizer.
Absolutely. Talking of Robin, shall we get him out?
Yeah, let's see what she has got for us.
See what he's got next week. Anything you want to do? Anything?
Let's just say not horror for this week.
And I won't say this very often. There's not a lot of laughs in that stream table.
No, there's not. It's quite dry, isn't it?
It is very dry. Maybe we had you a laugh. Are you ready for me to press the button?
I am.
Oh, missed it. He has picked us a movie called Strange Ways. Here We Come.
I mean, I'm going to bet it's British.
You would be correct to bet that, I think. Just look it up on IMDb. Right. Strange Ways, Here We Come was released in 2018. It is a British comedy crime drama.
Okay.
Doesn't say drama, I don't know why I said it. British comedy crime movie. Do you want the synopsis?
I would love it, please.
A comedy in which the tenants of a high-rise work together to defeat a cruel loan shark.
Short but sweet.
Very short, very sweet. Stars Michelle Keegan.
Oh, okay. Netflix favourite.
Yeah. So yeah, British comedy. We
Okay.
just asked for a comedy and Robin delivered.
There you go.
Is he going to deliver on giving us something good though?
Who knows?
We don't know. We will find out. So yeah, go out and watch Strange Ways Here We Come. And in the meantime, check us out on Instagram and Letterboxd at BOTS_podcast. If you want to drop us an email, our email address is bottomofthestream@gmail.com and our website is bottomofthestream.com. On our website, you will find every episode we've ever recorded, loads of cool stuff, all the stream tables, and you can even get some merch if you want to buy a Bottom of the Stream
Car.
car.
I was thinking,
Your
what was
brain
it?
just
I was
switched
like,
off.
what was in this movie that is relatable to what's in our shop?
Lock it.
Locket. I don't want an evil witch possessive locket. Car. There was lots of cars that got keyed in this movie.
There was. Okay, yeah, if you want a Bottom of the Stream car, you might find one on there. Probably not. After you've done that, head over to Patreon, patreon.com/bottom of the stream. On there, for £5 every month, you will get early access to episodes. You will get bonus episodes. You will get an exclusive access into our Discord, and you will get a wild card, which means you can pick the film we watch, and if you pick the best one of the season, you will win a prize. And then when you've done that, head over to Discord. A Discord is a wonderful group of wonderful people who will talk to you about anything. We play games, we do watch-alongs. We've got a watch-along coming up this weekend, I believe. Loads of cool stuff going on, and the Discord link will be in the bottom of the show notes.
If you can spare a few minutes, please leave us a review and rating anywhere that you can review and rate podcasts. It really, really helps get the word out there about our show, gets us more friends and more people in the Discord, and that's what it's all about. You can find us anywhere you find podcasts. That's places like Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Podchaser, Spotify, YouTube Music. We're on all of them.
Literally all of them. Anywhere you can find podcasts.
And the others.
So yeah, do all that. Go out and watch Strange Ways Here We Come. And we'll be back on Monday for The Wave and next Thursday for the movie show.
Cheers!
Bye-bye.